In the dead of night, a woman returns home, blissfully unaware that her life is about to end at the hands of someone she once trusted. But this wasn't just a crime of passion. It was a cold, calculated murder by her estranged husband, a man who had plotted his revenge for months. What drove him to kill the mother of his children? And why did he believe he could get away with it? This is the shocking, chilling true story of the murder of Tamara Padi. Tamara Padi, a 43-year-old mother and successful professional, had spent years building a life for her children and herself. Her estranged husband, Aubrey Pule Padi, once a partner in both marriage and business, became a man consumed by bitterness and revenge. Despite their separation, they remained tied by a shared company. What seemed like a routine breakup soon spiraled into a nightmare of calculated brutality. Aubrey's chilling actions on that fateful night would leave a family shattered forever. Tamara and Aubrey Padi's marriage, spanning 14 years, once appeared to be the ideal union. Hailing from South Africa, they had built a life together, raising 2 daughters and running a care provision business. However, by February 2021, cracks began to form, and the couple made the difficult decision to separate. Despite this, they attempted to maintain a professional relationship, co-parenting their children and continuing their business partnership. On the surface, they appeared amicable, but beneath the surface, unresolved tensions and simmering resentment were slowly building. Aubrey, unable to accept the end of their relationship, carried the weight of bitterness and anger. As Tamara moved forward with her life, Aubrey's inability to let go led to a dangerous obsession. Their separation, which many might view as a routine dissolution of a marriage, was anything but. It became the foundation for a dark, twisted plan that would ultimately end in tragedy. While Tamara focused on her career and motherhood, Aubrey's thoughts turned darker, marred by jealousy and a thirst for revenge. In hindsight, what appeared to be a fresh start for Tamara was merely the calm before the storm, as her estranged husband's cold and calculated intentions set the stage for a crime no one saw coming. On the night of July 7, 2021, Tamara Padi arrived home around 1:30 a.m. on Lake Road in Stalybridge, Greater Manchester, after a late-night care visit. She was accompanied by a colleague who was staying over at her house. It had been a routine evening, but it would soon take a tragic turn that would change the lives of those involved forever. The 2 women entered the house, unaware that it would be their last moments of safety. Tamara, exhausted from the long hours of work, headed upstairs to her bedroom, while her colleague settled downstairs. The house seemed calm, but lurking in the shadows was a figure who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Aubrey Padi, Tamara's estranged husband, had been hiding inside the home, lying in wait for her return. Despite their separation, Aubrey had not been able to let go of the anger and resentment he felt. Around 3:30 a.m., Tamara's colleague was suddenly jolted awake by the sound of blood-curdling screams coming from upstairs. Alarmed, she rushed to the top of the stairs to investigate, only to witness something that would haunt her forever. Aubrey was seen attempting to flee the scene, but before he could escape, he turned back and rushed upstairs, his intentions now clear. What followed was the sound of violence, the unmistakable sound of a brutal attack. The colleague, terrified and frozen in shock, quickly realized the severity of the situation. She called emergency services, desperately trying to get help. As she waited, Aubrey fled the house in a panic. The screams from upstairs stopped, and the house fell eerily silent. When police arrived, they found Tamara in critical condition, suffering from multiple stab wounds. She was rushed to the hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after. It was clear that this wasn't just an act of rage. It was the culmination of months of bitterness, premeditation, and a relentless desire for control. The attack on Tamara was nothing short of a calculated act of vengeance. The chilling nature of the crime and the way Aubrey appeared to have planned everything beforehand left investigators stunned. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of a horrifying investigation that would uncover the depths of betrayal and obsession. The investigation into Tamara Padi's murder unfolded quickly, with law enforcement working around the clock to piece together the disturbing events of that night. When police arrived at the scene, they found disturbing evidence that revealed the brutal and premeditated nature of the crime. It was soon discovered that Aubrey Padi had gained unauthorized access to Tamara's home. In what could only be described as a chilling display of planning, Aubrey had hidden inside the house, waiting for her to return. He had come prepared, bringing with him a disturbing arsenal of tools, including a hammer, knives, gloves, a metal exercise bar, and cord. These items were not random. They indicated a level of premeditation that shocked the investigators. It was clear that Aubrey had spent weeks, if not months, carefully planning his revenge, knowing exactly how he would carry out the attack when the opportunity arose. As the investigation unfolded, it became even more evident that the crime had not been a spur-of-the-moment act of rage. Aubrey's actions reflected a deep-rooted resentment that had been brewing ever since the couple's separation. His decision to murder Tamara, rather than accept the end of their relationship, revealed his inability to let go and the lengths he was willing to go to regain control over the situation. After fleeing the scene and leaving Tamara for dead, Aubrey's guilt quickly caught up with him. Less than 24 hours after the murder, he called the police himself. In a matter-of-fact tone, he confessed to the crime, offering a chilling statement, "I am sorry for what I have done, but she deserved it." This admission stunned investigators and only further confirmed the brutal nature of the crime. Aubrey's callousness in his confession revealed a man who felt justified in his actions, viewing Tamara's death as a form of retribution for his perceived grievances. The legal proceedings that followed were swift. Aubrey was arrested and charged with murder. During the trial, he pleaded guilty, acknowledging his role in the death of his wife. The court proceedings revealed the depth of Aubrey's obsession and his inability to move on from the breakdown of his marriage. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 23 years before he would be considered for parole. The case highlighted the tragic consequences of unresolved emotional turmoil and the dangers of domestic violence. Aubrey's cold and calculated actions led to the end of a woman's life, a mother's life, and forever changed the course of his own existence. The murder of Tamara Padi left a devastating impact on her family, particularly her two daughters, aged 15 and 10. These young girls were not only forced to process the unimaginable loss of their mother, but they also had to grapple with the heart-wrenching reality that their father, the man they trusted and loved, was the one responsible for her death. The trauma they experienced, witnessing the murder of their mother and learning that their father was the perpetrator, will likely haunt them for the rest of their lives. The loss of a mother, especially in such violent circumstances, is a pain that no child should ever have to endure, and their emotional and psychological recovery would be a long and challenging journey. Beyond the immediate family, the shockwave of Tamara's death reverberated throughout the community. Tamara had been well respected, not only as a mother, but also as a dedicated professional. She had been an active member of the community and was known for her warmth, kindness, and strength. Her tragic death sent a ripple of grief through those who knew her, leaving many struggling to understand how such an act of violence could happen in their midst. Tamara's passing was not only a personal loss to her family, but also a communal tragedy that left a void in the lives of many. This case also highlights the pressing need for awareness and intervention in domestic violence situations, especially when it comes to individuals who appear outwardly amicable or who maintain relationships after separation. Tamara and Aubrey's situation might have seemed like a typical case of co-parenting and business collaboration after a divorce, but behind closed doors, there were deeper issues of control and emotional turmoil. It serves as a grim reminder that signs of potential violence can be hidden beneath the surface, and early intervention is key to preventing such tragedies. The tragic murder of Tamara Padi serves as a chilling reminder of the hidden dangers within domestic relationships. It highlights the complexities of separation, where even when couples appear amicable, unresolved emotions and resentment can lead to dangerous, unforeseen outcomes. Tamara's death underscores the critical need for awareness and vigilance in recognizing the signs of domestic violence. It is a powerful warning that no one should ever ignore the emotional distress or manipulative behavior that can fester in seemingly ordinary relationships. This case calls for stronger support systems for those affected by domestic abuse. If you or someone you know is experiencing emotional, physical, or psychological abuse, it's crucial to seek help before it's too late. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate, and early intervention can save lives. Resources like domestic violence hotlines, shelters, and counseling services are available to provide help and support to those in need. Please do not hesitate to reach out. No one should ever suffer in silence. Together, we can raise awareness and prevent further tragedies like Tamara's.